The bleak picture of growing needs paired with an insufficient international response has led to an increasing recognition that time has come to rethink the humanitarian architecture. We need a more inclusive humanitarian system, a system that is working to achieve the best possible complementarity with a broad range of actors towards the best possible humanitarian response. Alternative actors such as Diasporas need to be part of that system.
Hi, I'm Robert Smith from UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. What we're seeing in recent years is that the scale and complexity of humanitarian crises keeps growing. Conflicts get bigger, natural disasters get more frequent and more severe. So we really need more of a whole of society approach to humanitarian response.
There's a realization now about so-called conventional actors and non-conventional, as opposed to unconventional actors, working together. You know, that is the big organizations, the international organizations and diaspora organizations, because essentially we're going after the same things, we're trying to achieve the same aims, but sometimes we actually can work at cross purposes because we don't coordinate our efforts. And I think there's now a realization that this is the only way forward and there's no getting away from it.
Diasporas are just the sort of situational or occasional humanitarian actor that can really add to the equation. I think DEMAC's role has to keep strengthening this diaspora engagement and response. First of all, we need a lot more evidence on what diasporas are doing now in development as well as humanitarian relief when disaster strikes. DEMAC has already brought that knowledge and that evidence up to the state of the art, and now we need to keep further. There's a lot of mapping that can be done about who is doing what kind of actions or interventions are more effective in what kinds of situations. So there's still a lot we need to learn.
My name is Mingo Hajduk and I'm the team leader of the Danish Refugee Council Diaspora program. We're working with the diaspora engagement in humanitarian aid and development, facilitating the actorship of diasporas in country of origin. For me, the way forward would be to become more operational, to look further into how can then DEMAC actually play that role of creating the links on the ground, moving our focus from country of residence of the diaspora we're working with to the country of origin where they are operationalizing at the moment. Without the conversations and the feedback and the buy-in we got from both sides of the table, this would not be able to move forward because you can't put it top down. This has to be something that the actors engaged actually want, and I think DEMAC has shown that that is the case.
This initiative is bringing together the Syrian, Sierra Leonean and the Somali diaspora to share learning amongst themselves, but also to coordinate better how we work with the conventional actors.
We're at Tengbe Town at a small school up in the hills of Tengbe Town called Evans School, and we're here today to serve lunch basically. There's 100 or so children in this school. It's a very small school. Oh, I think the DEMAC project is an incredibly useful project to help us to connect with each other. When you're in the peak of an appeal, at the peak of a crisis, sometimes you can easily feel isolated and you don't realize that there's so many people out there doing amazing things in different countries. And what DEMAC has done is helped us to connect with people from Somalia, from Syria, from other parts of the world who are doing incredibly amazing stuff, and it's just been an inspiration to work with these people, to brainstorm, to share ideas.
Fadi Al-Dairi, Hand in Hand for Syria. All our activities are inside Syria as opposed to outside. We work across different sectors from health, wash, protection and shelter, in addition to education. We have the joy of working with DEMAC, and it was quite an interesting project for us. We learned a lot from other conflicts, from other disasters. I'm hoping to share the findings from the project with others now.
Think about today's event?
I think it was an awesome possibility that the Diaspora organization come together with the international actors. Especially for Syria, it's a very great opportunity to look how we can cooperate more, because it's like we can work better if we work together, and it was really great, like always.
If you want to have a great impact and make some sustainable solution, you have to work with others. You cannot do it all alone by yourself, even though you want to sometimes.
I think diasporas are well placed to bridge so many of those gaps we are struggling with, and I believe that diasporas also see us as an important part of their own work, and so it's a matter of basically two worlds meeting each other in order to provide a better assistance to affected populations.
I think since joining this project and looking at how things are going, it's really brought to my knowledge and my awareness just how big, how impressive these actors are in terms of the knowledge about the countries that we work in terms of the sheer volume of how many people are actually in the diaspora, and then the big one in terms of sheer volume of money that they are providing in terms of remittances. So the international humanitarian system, or the conventional system as we call it in the DEMAC project, has its own way of working. They have a humanitarian coordinator, a humanitarian country team, they have a cluster system, they have an intercluster body, all these things that we understand perfectly well. But anybody who doesn't know the humanitarian system, the last 20 seconds that I've talked about probably means no sense. Equally on the other side, the diaspora will be working with local governance organisations, they'll be working with other local partners, they'll be working very closely with the community, and all this is a little bit blind to our side. So I mean, it's a natural bridge to bring these two things together.
We have done a lot of activities. The important activities I can mention here is the last drought, which exacerbated by El Nino condition that hit Somalia March this year, 2016. We have mobilized the community and organized fundraising events where we have collected much money and channelized it through our local partner, which delivered it to the beneficiaries who were in need.
So we've seen during this conference that there are already a lot of things that are like on the mind of people and that have been also explored during DEMAC 1. And I think one of them is that we've explored the motivation of actors. We've seen on the one hand that there's a big need still with coordination, communication between the different actors. So I think this is something where we laid a foundation in DEMAC 1, but there's still so much of misunderstanding on both sides that we can, I think, now tackle in a DEMAC phase 2.
The baseline is that the system itself is not enough. So it's a question of complementarity and getting organizations and people and different actors to work together towards the common goal of providing a better humanitarian assistance to the people in need.
Excellent, thank you.